Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers. Obviously, he's the play caller, an offensive genius, some people might say, or Nick Sirianni, who isn't calling the plays, but definitely sets a, incredible tone and has really turned the Eagles into a complete juggernaut. And also is extremely aggressive, which really, really works in the Eagles' favor. Kyle Shanahan really struggles with aggressiveness. Do you think that that's something he might change in this game? And who do you think has the coaching advantage when we're talking about the matchups between the 49ers and the Eagles?
I think that it's an intriguing aspect when you talk about matchups because a lot of people want to gravitate towards one coach or the other, and I don't know if they're like if you can think in that regard because the coaches are two completely different coaches. I'm talking specifically personality. I mean, Kyle Shanahan and Nick Sirianni are both coaches who are beloved by players, but they coach in very different ways. Sirianni is a guy who is extremely energetic and extremely passionate. They also run a little bit of a different scheme. Sirianni focuses on the RPO action, and that's kind of because he's revolved his system around his quarterback, and that's made that offense a popular offense. And so I do think that both sides have different tendencies. One of the biggest differences in tendencies, although we've seen an uptick from Kyle Shanahan this year, is aggressiveness. Nick Sirianni is not afraid to go for it on fourth down. The Philadelphia
No,
Eagles, when you look at the numbers, the Eagles, they go for it on fourth down a significant amount. And
they
when
get
I'm
it
talking,
too.
yeah, I mean, that's the
There's
important part is because when it goes to short distance situations, they get it. Philadelphia right now is, I believe, oh boy, I'm forgetting the exact number, but I believe they're number two in the NFL in fourth downs converted per game at 1.2, and their efficiency is extremely high. It's 76.5%. That is number one in the NFL by a mile, by at least 10%. Minnesota second. They've been 100% on fourth downs in the last three games, which have all come against playoff opponents in Dallas, Kansas City, and Buffalo. They are aggressive. They'll go for it when they need to, but more importantly, they're efficient when they go for it. Like Ashley mentioned, they get it. And so I think that that's something that is important in this one because San Francisco is also going to, well, if it's a close game, you might need to match the aggressiveness that Philadelphia comes out with.
I hope that Kyle Shanahan does. I know that sometimes he can kind of get a little bit not scared, but like content kind of play to not lose. But I wonder, I think sometimes we've talked about before the 49ers playing down to their opponents. I wonder if it'll be the opposite of this game where Kyle Shanahan will kind of want to match that aggressiveness to give the 49ers the same opportunities. Because by always going for it on fourth downs, the Eagles are constantly giving themselves more chances. Um, Sirianni is a guy who was sleeping on the couch. He was sleeping on the couch during last game. Okay, I
I
brought that
think
up because
not too sure.
I
I
think
think
we
maybe he
talked about
slept in the stadium. Maybe I don't really know.
maybe, but Kashimia did too. He talked about especially that Thursday game. He said they went they had like a day off and then they slept there until Thanksgiving. So I do think what is this? Okay, Kyle Shanahan was too aggressive last year with Josh Johnson. Kind of funny. He did kind of try to be a little bit more aggressive in that Eagles game, but I think we're talking more about play calling and or more about decision making in the game. I definitely don't think he'll make the same mistake to not challenge and not go for it as much as he did previously. And I'll just be interested in how the game plays out because the 49ers and the Eagles play such different games where and they kind of like oppose each other, right? Like the 49ers I think this year are leading in first half efficiency, scoring on their first drive 90% of the time, really getting out into a lead. If the 49ers offensive or not even their 49ers as a team formula for winning is to score offensively and to have their defense hold the opposing offense to a 3 and out on their first drive. And usually by getting up by 7 to 10 points, that can kind of be a formula for the 49ers to take off and win. And they're kind of able to hold on to that win even though they slow down usually in that third quarter, where it's almost the opposite. And I wonder if it plays. I'm going to ask you if it plays into the Eagles' hand, because the Eagles have shown that they're unlike they're the opposite of the 49ers, where they're leading in second half efficiency and scoring coming out of the halftime in the third quarter. And you could kind of see if they were down only by a touchdown or so, them being able to kick it up and really like have a gritty ending where both teams are fighting. I think the 49ers will have to play all 4 quarters to really pull out the W. What type of game do you think this is going to uh, end up being? Do you think it'll be a game where one team is able to pull out throughout it, or do you think it'll be a back and forth the whole time? How are you expecting this to go, since both teams kind of play such different styles of football, even though maybe style isn't the right word, because they both play with immense energy and physicality, but they both win very different ways, or at least recently they do.
I think that this game is going to be an intriguing game. And I also, I'm a person who tries to be as realistic as I can with my own thoughts. I'm not going to overpick the 49ers. I'm not going to sugarcoat it if I believe that they're going to be losing. I picked the Eagles to win last year. I did in the NFC Championship game. Obviously, that game didn't go as we expected, but that was one thing that I did. I've picked the 49ers to lose in a few games this year. Not that many, but maybe twice, I believe I've picked them to lose this year. This game is different. This game is different. I honestly believe the 49ers are going to win this one. And the Eagles are a tough matchup, but when you look at the way this game matters a lot more to the 49ers than it does to the Eagles.